Hi YouTube. I thought I'd stop by today and talk a little bit about the Trinity and historical Jesus versus mythological Jesus. First on historical versus mythological Jesus. The one thing that occurs to me over and over again in this text, and has occurred to me over and over again, is that in a revealed religion, the last thing you need is a human being. And when quite often, and I've received I guess arguments from even atheists that have said, you know, he's a real guy back there. And these are mostly people that do, you know, theological videos or what have you, and they insist that this guy is real. And I understand, you know, you put the guy back there, go ahead and grant all the stuff, and then you poke holes in it because, quite frankly, the texts are full of holes. If you want to call it all one thing, then it's easily ripped apart. And I'm sure that some people have a lot of fun doing that. On the other hand, that's not my approach. I really couldn't care less one way or another if this guy was real. But I do want to find out. And my approach has been to find out what they're talking about first and then decide. And that's where I'm at right now. And right now, I see absolutely no reason at all for a real human being named Jesus to be back there starting this religion. I don't see it happening. It's possible, and if he was back there, he's absolutely irrelevant to the theology. The second thing I'd like to talk about is the Trinity. And Theophilus of Antioch in book 2, chapter 15 of Apology to Autolycus says that the Trinity is the three parts of the Trinity are God, His Word, and His wisdom. God, His Word, Jesus, and wisdom, which is Sophia. And wisdom is kind of the veil between heaven and reality. It's the barrier between earth and heaven, so to speak. But this is the earliest known version of the Trinity. It wasn't God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. It was God, Jesus, and Sophia, wisdom. And you can see this theology, this Trinity rather, in the texts of Matthew and Luke. And the stories are very, very similar, but they have one very important detail that's different between the two. In Matthew 11:18 through 20, that's this story. It's similar to a story in Luke, but it says, and wisdom is justified by her works. Her works. Sophia, wisdom, is female. Constantly considered female in Gnostic theology, and once again here in Matthew, considered female. The difference between these two, in Luke 7:35, it says, and wisdom is justified of all her children. Now, the stories are very, very similar between the two, except that those two things. How is wisdom justified? Well, back in Matthew, it says by works. In Luke, it says by all her children. Children of wisdom, essentially. First, just the fact that they both have her as female, and Mark Allen has her as female there as well. It just shows that Sophia is there and known. And there were questions about whether she was, I think, probably a form or a deity, because that's what all these things are. They're either forms or deities. When you get to Jesus and Spirit and the modern Trinity, you know, it was Spirit a form or was it a deity? Well, the Catholics decided it was a deity at some point. Fair enough. Technically, there's a fourth deity here, wisdom, and it says so in Matthew and Luke. But the difference again, Matthew is an Ebionite theology, probably late Ebionite theology, and it says that she is justified by works. This was an Ebionite aspect, an Ebionite theological aspect. Works was the thing. This goes back to the Peter and Paul arguments, essentially works versus faith. And in Luke, all wisdom is justified, and wisdom is justified by of all of her children. So, in other words, as long as you have faith, you're in. The other guys, the Matthew lineage, the Ebionite lineage, works. These two texts very subtly have opposed each other in that line, and it falls in line perfectly with the rest of the text. So there are very subtle differences, but these are different theologies. Luke is an advanced Marcionite theology. Matthew is an advanced Ebionite theology. And though they disagree on some of the details, they agree on other things. And again, we have wisdom, the female, Sophia, which you can see in an awful lot of Gnostic texts. So throw all that out there. Yeah, I don't guess I have anything else today. So you guys have a good one. Thanks, folks. Bye.